So good and evil. We got good and evil. And some people find that, it is subjective. Some people find in their personal experience that it's subjective, and some people think that good looks different than what other people would consider it. But it's not. So think back to when you were a kid, right? And your parents would say, "Hey, it's time for you to go to the dentist." And you'd say, "Well, why?" As a kid, you don't know anything about the world. Why? Why do I have to go to the dentist, you might ask? And your parents might entertain it, and they'll explain to you, "Well, because you need to get your teeth clean." "Well, why?" And then your parents explain to you, "Well, because they're a little bit dirty." "Well, why?" "Well, because you ate food like sugar, very starchy, carby foods that get stuck in your teeth and create a... Well, why? Why did I eat that?" Figuring out if something is right or wrong, good or evil, is just like that, but in reverse. You take the same steps that you did when you were a kid, asking why you had to go to the dentist, but you take them in reverse. So, let's go back to the sugar, right? You eat the sugar. What's the result of that? The result of that is your teeth get yellow. The result of that is you start putting on some weight. Your blood pressure or your blood sugar spikes. Maybe you're diabetic, and that creates a problem for you. So maybe you're diabetic, and that creates a problem for you. Or you risk getting diabetes. You conclude that the sugar is evil. Why? Because you don't desire yellow teeth, which could in turn have you lose your teeth, which would cause you to not be able to eat. That's not a desirable result. That's objective, because it quite literally gets you closer to death. It gets you closer to death, so you conclude that the sugar is on the evil side of history. It's not rocket science. So, let's take fixing a flight of, let's say there's a flight of stairs. It's made out of wood, and you're like, I'm gonna go ahead and fix that, right? What's the result of that gonna be? Well, people can now walk up the flight of stairs. What's the result of that gonna be? People can get to and from their jobs a lot sooner. They can make more money, and the economy works more efficient. Well, what's the result of that? You get your Amazon packages sooner. You get your house handyman to come out to the job site quicker and fix your house up. So it increases efficiency. It increases the quality of life, is the result. So like I said, you take those kid questions, and you just take them in reverse. So rather than why, you ask what's the result of that, and you take it backwards. Let's go to, let's do another evil one, right? Let's do another evil one. and then I'll choose some good examples. So, throwing trash on the sidewalk, right? You have some options, right? You can throw it on the sidewalk, throw it in the sewer, throw it in the garbage can, but you choose to throw it on the sidewalk. What's the result of that? The sidewalk is dirty. What's the result of that? Some people who wear nice shoes might step in the trash, and then you ruin their new Nikes. Let's go back again to the sidewalk being dirty. What's the result of that? Well, now when it rains, it creates a mud from the trash. It creates a different type of water. Now, it's all going to drain off into the sewage anyways, but it dirties up everything even more. What's the result of the trash being on the ground? It takes an extra step. So rather than just throwing it in the trash, there's one step, just go over, throw it in the trash. Now you throw it on the ground, that's one step. And then the second step is someone has to come by, pick it up, and then throw it in the trash. You create a whole extra step. It's easier said than done. It's probably more like 3 extra steps. But I take it that we're all smart enough that I can compress it down to 2 steps. I'm not going to tell you bend down is 1 step, pick up the trash, hold the trash in your hand, push your legs back up. Like, I take it we're all mature enough to know how to do that, to know how to get down and pick up a piece of trash. Like, I don't have to break down each fucking individual step of that. So you create an extra step. So it decreases efficiency. That would be an evil, right? You don't want to do anything that decreases efficiency. And you definitely... So we've learned that messes, like leaving any kind of mess, that's objectively evil. This, for similar reasons that it's evil to leave your trash on the ground outside on the sidewalk rather than put it in the trash, is the same reason why when you pour yourself a glass of milk and you accidentally dump a little on the countertop, and it'd be evil to leave it there. It would be wrong to leave it there. The right answer would be, hey, grab a paper towel, wipe it up, or get a towel and wipe it up. So let's do some good ones. Let's do some good. There's 2 people, right? One invents things in his basement, or he engineers stuff in his basement that's really never been done before in the way that he's doing it. The other person is buying a bunch of video games, buying a bunch of skins on Fortnite, or even like buying a bunch of mechanical work for an old car when they know they can just sell it and get something that they don't have to do as much mechanical work on as a vehicle. So, in other words, one person is inventing something, the other person is kind of just wasting money, in a sense. I'm an investor. Let's say I'm an investor, and I'm trying to decide, which one do I want to invest in? Because, this person that wastes a lot of money, I don't know, man, they can start a nice YouTube channel flexing all the things they spent money on. Reviewing all the things they spent money on. I don't know, man, that's semi-profitable. The person who's engineering something is literally creating something. I give them both $100. I'm like, here you go, $100 each. The first person, the one that we said wastes a lot of money, he went and bought 2 video games. How long did it last? How much fun was it? How long did it last him? 2 months. He beat the first one in a month, beat the second one in a month. The person that engineers stuff, he bought the part that he was saving up for, that I finally gave him his last 100 to save up for it, to where he had enough money for it. He bought a part for something he's been engineering. And the thing that he engineered makes it, I don't know, easier to fix cars, let's say. Whatever he engineered, it makes it easier to fix cars. Or maybe it's multi-purpose and it makes it easier to do housework as well. Like work around the house. So you would rather invest your 100 in the engineer, or in the person who's, creating something from nothing, not the person who has to buy something and then go off of what was already created. So there is a right and a wrong answer of a good and an evil, a right and a wrong answer of who you're going to give that money to. Because what's the result of the video games? Well, you get a review of it. You get a review of the video game. What's the result of the reviews? Alright, 200,000 people saw it. You made $500 off the video. And what's the result of that? It goes back into more video games. What's the result of that? More reviews, more money, more video games, more reviews, more money. The cycle continues. But no increase in quality of life. Just his. Someone say you're giving to the selfish to give to that person. Now we give it to the inventor. He invents the new thing. The result of that is increase in efficiency and workflow. The result of that is, you get your stuff faster. Everybody gets things more efficiently and cheaper. The cost of goods and labor goes down. What's the result of that? Everybody's quality of life increases even more than it just did from the efficiency increase, because now they have more money. What's the result of that? People can create more businesses. More people can invest in their own ideas. What's the result of that? More innovation. What's the result of that? It goes and it just keeps fucking going. But it's innovation. It's not just, alright, we're playing video games and we wait for someone else to innovate the video game and I sit back and consume it all day. There's consume and then there's create. So you would invest in the create. Now, this one over here, you could say he creates things about things he consumes. Phony baloney. You would rather create things that help others create. And you would want to create things that increase the quality of life. That's a good. Let's go back and do another evil. My dogs are kind of freaking out. I apologize. I'm going to try and wrap this up quick. Another evil. Real quick. Off the ball. Cars, Someone buys a car that's, well, let's say they buy like a BMW. Or like, I don't know, what's another foreign car? Ferrari. And the argument is, well, it's good on gas. What's the result of buying that Ferrari? Maintenance costs are expensive. What's the result of that? that person has to sacrifice a good bit of their quality of life just to have this Ferrari. What's the result of that? Um, Overall feelings of unhappiness, overall decrease in efficiency in the workflow, overall decrease in health, probably mental and physical, and then a decrease in perceived intelligence from the people around, because they're like, why would you buy something that the maintenance there's not a good return on investment, right? So the result overall is the return on investment is not favorable. So right, wrong, good or evil, it's on the wrong/evil side. The same way that, so let's go through some actions. I can I can buy I can buy a video game or give someone $50. You know, a video game's about $50. Or I could buy a new beat pack or a new fucking toolkit, whatever industry you're in. I don't care. This doesn't discriminate. My ideas are universal and can be applied anywhere. So you either have the choice of buying that video game or investing in somebody. The video game, it's going to increase my quality of life for a month. The toolkit may be a little bit longer, but the argument for all of these things, even if they increase my quality of life, is it just increases mine. I give someone else $50. What's the result of that? Assuming we know the person and we know what they're capable of and we've already kind of studied them before we give them the money. You have whatever they're capable of can increase, in efficiency. Whatever that is will increase, quality of life for everyone around them. So let's say they're good at, writing information down, like I don't know, physics or something. Like you pretty much have someone that can give you free physics lessons, and then you invest in them. Well, now everybody around him is smarter, more intelligent, because he can more efficiently convey these ideas to the people in a way that they actually understand. So now everybody's even more intelligent. So when they use that intelligence, let's say at the workforce, at the house, in public, efficiency and overall human happiness increases. What's the result of that? Higher mental states, better mental health, better physical health, because that's all going to play into the physical. What's the result of that? More people are protected. What's the result of that? We have more room for genius. We have more room for even more inventors and innovators. So it's interesting to see how one action can spiral into immense success, not only for you but for the people around you. And then the opposite can also happen depending on what you choose to do. You can make one decision and it all comes spiraling down. But I do believe that actions ripple. I believe that when you look at your life and you think, well, I can make a wrong decision or a right decision, I can make a good or evil decision, there is cause and effect. There's going to be a result to your action. I sit down and I write music. The result is that I have a good song on the outcome. So let's say I'm hanging out with my boy Joe, I'm hanging out with my boy Jimmy. I don't know. I'm not singling out anybody, by the way. When I say these names, these are made up names, and I'm just kind of saying them as an example, as a hypothetical. You know, Jimmy isn't a real person, but let's say I'm hanging out with Jimmy. Jimmy has a girlfriend, and Jimmy's girlfriend wants to, you know, she wants a piece. You know, she wants a piece of the naff. She wants to. What's a good family appropriate word? She wants to sleep with the nath. I'm just gonna say it flat out. She wants to sleep with the nath, and I'm like, all right. So what's the results of my choices here? I can either sleep with her or not sleep with her. Those are my matrices. Those are my choices. There's no like. There's not a third choice there. It's not like I can like fucking be halfway in and halfway out. Like it's you can't have it both ways, or there's no in between on this one. It's either she says, "Can you sleep? You want to sleep with me?" and it's yes or no. You know, not maybe, because eventually it's going to turn into a yes or no. So we go with the choices are sleep with her or not sleep with her. And you look at the results of each of these. You're like, well, I can sleep with her. What's the results of that going to be? You know, I increase my dopamine for a night. I stroke my ego. What's the result of sleeping with her still, though? Well, my buddy Jimmy doesn't, I'm not friends with him anymore. Jimmy doesn't like me anymore. What's the results of that? My mental health and Jimmy's mental health both go down. Both of our self-esteems come right after stroking my ego. My self-esteem's gonna drop. Jimmy doesn't feel good because he's like, wow, my buddy just fucked my girl. And you know, you get a whole debacle. Whereas, you know, if you're like, hey, you go with don't sleep with her, the results of that is Jimmy's happy. The results of that is you're happy because you know you did the right thing, and Jimmy's happy. The results of that is you're still, you know, you're still open for a different lady. The results of that, you know, they can continue their family. You don't mess with anything like that, or you don't break up a good thing. So when there's sometimes the choice of good isn't necessarily going to increase anything. It's just sometimes it's not necessarily going to break anything up or destroy anything good. Those are sometimes your options. Like sometimes it doesn't increase anything. It just doesn't decrease anything. Which over time is a positive. With inflation, with stuff like that, over time it's still going to be a positive. But the important part is there's no situation where screwing someone's girl is going to be good for humanity. What's another result of screwing someone's girl? The people who look up to you are going to start to act like you. That's less loyal men, less fathers in the home. Less fathers being accepted, less children being raised with a male role model in the house. That's detrimental. That's detrimental to society. That's detrimental to humanity. So like I said, not sleeping with the homie's girl is the good, and then sleeping with the homie's girl is the evil, because the results of one has a desirable result, the other has it could be desirable for some, but it's only to the single person that's sleeping with the woman. It's only desirable for that person. And that's, it's not good. The better, as a leader, the better your team is off, the better you are off. So when you increase your team's worth, not only do you increase your own because monkey see, monkey do, but they're your team. So if they have better tools than you, you can, I'm sure you can borrow their tools. What you don't want to do is screw over your team. You never want to do that. That's never the good. And why? Again, at this point, we've done this exercise enough, and you can use your imagination a little bit on the results of things. Use your experience. Go back through your life experience and look at what the results of things were. And step one is you have to become aware. You know, you have to be aware. You can't just be listening to what everybody else says. Like, you have to be able to study the world yourself. You have to become aware of the world and be able to study it yourself. You can't just go by what past humans have seen. You have to do that, but also be able to study the world yourself in case things change, in case conditions change. But one thing won't change: the good and the evil. There'll be new experiences that arise and then new choices that we've never had before. But of those choices, even if we never had them before, we'll be able to use our imagination and our experience of the past, add these up and come up with what we think is going to be the closest to the right answer. And it's trial and error at those certain points. It's trial and error. But, you know, now you shouldn't be confused about good and evil. You should know the difference. Thank you guys for joining, for coming and listening. It's getting kind of dark. I'm going to have to bump this up a notch. It's getting kind of dark, so I'm about to head out here. It was good talking to you guys, good teaching you guys about the good and evil. Hope you learned something. Hope we can increase human efficiency with this knowledge. I hope it's not insanely obvious, but I know that there's some powers in this world that really need to hear this, because they have the power, but they just don't have the responsibility. So that's all. Take care, everybody.